Hello, my name is Simin. I'm an English language teacher, and I would be happy to share my knowledge of English grammar with you. In this video, I'm going to talk about present simple and present continuous and to make some comparisons between these two. When it comes to present simple, of course, the sentence structure, as we see, is very simple, and what we need to know is when to use it. Well, we use present simple when we talk about regular habits or repeated actions. For this, you can think about what you do, for example, every day in the morning, every day in the afternoon. And it doesn't have to be necessarily every day, it can be, say, twice a week. Even it can be once a month. But then this is something which happens again and again, once every month. For example, I get up really early and practice for an hour or so most days. I use the internet just about every day. And you see in these two examples, we have that sense of, well, repetition of these actions. Well, in present simple, we use such mostly. It's not, a rule, but, well, we mostly use such adverbs like always, generally, normally, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. And these adverbs come in between the subject and the main verb. But of course, if you have to be, then it's a bit different because we say I'm always early or I'm always late at school. And then in here, these follow the verb to be. And if you would like to emphasize the frequency of those repeated actions that you would like to talk about, like by saying every day, every evening, twice a month, then these come at the end of the sentence. We also use present simple to talk about permanent situations. For example, my sister runs a business. My parents own a restaurant. Well, this is of course this is not something true just for a week, but this refers to a permanent situation. Well, in this video, I'm not going to talk about present perfect, so I would like to skip this part. But when it comes to present continuous, well, you can make this comparison between the sentence structure as we talk about present simple, this is just subject and the verb. But when it comes to present continuous, and then we have subject to be, and then verb ing. Well, but when we use this present continuous, this is what we use to talk about temporary situations. What that means, for example, I'm studying really hard for my exams. It doesn't necessarily mean that the speaker at the time of speaking is studying. But maybe this person is talking to a friend on the phone, or maybe this person is, for example, just explaining to a teacher what is his or her current main activity, better to say, and then he or she says, I'm studying really hard for my exams. That is, this is the main activity for this person, and maybe this is something which is true for 2 weeks because the exam is will be, for example, is scheduled to happen in 2 weeks. The other example is, my cousin is living in Thailand at the moment. He doesn't normally live there. Well, you can think that maybe this person's cousin is from, for example, Germany, but at this moment, for some reasons, is living in Thailand. So Thailand is not, his home country, his or her home country, but this is a very temporary, situation. So that is how it says my cousin is living in Thailand, but not my cousin lives in Thailand. Well, words like at the moment, currently, now, this week, this month, and this year mostly signal this sense of, that this sentence shows a temporary action. We also use present continuous to talk about actions that are happening at the moment of speaking. For example, now I am teaching English. You are listening to this, for example, of course, watching and listening to this video, you are learning English. And for example, a very simple other example, I'm waiting for my friends. We can think that this person is standing in front of the school, waiting for his or her friends to come. We also use present continuous to talk about trends or changing situations. For example, at this moment, we all can think about how this COVID-19 pandemic has changed people's lives. So we can say this pandemic is making people's life very different. That means this is not something that people used to have. This is a new type of condition that people are experiencing because of this COVID-19 pandemic. So this is a changing situation, or trend, better to say. The other example is the internet is making it easier for people to stay in touch with each other. Again, of course, this book is not written that newly, so that's how we see such a sentence. The other example is the price of petrol is rising dramatically. And we understand that this is not going to happen for a long time, but this is at the same time not only a temporary action, but also a changing situation, because previously it didn't used to have that price. We also use present continuous to talk about things that happen more often than expected. And sometimes, of course, we use this structure to convey our unhappiness or to complain about something. In here, it says, my mom's always saying I do not happy. This is type of complaint. Or he's always visiting exciting places. And of course, this is what conveys envy. Well, more examples. Well, you can say, my neighbor is always making such terrible noises outside home. This is again type of complaint. Well, when it comes to present continuous, we also need to know what are the state verbs. And this is what I'm going to talk about in the next video. So please subscribe and give it a like if you would like, and follow my next videos.